that wanted to hear his music. But the reality is $2 million buys a lot of Geritol and, you know, disposable adult
into power.
diapers.
And
so God bless
Lauren
Neil
Sanchez
Young.
has become a masterclass in that very art take, for example.
That's harsh. I love it
Her
when you get
recent
harsh,
Blue
Kinsey.
Origin flight,
You mentioned
not
Amazon
just a personal
there.
milestone, but a symbol, a moment of triumph for women in aviation and media and space. A deliberate choice to be seen, not just as someone standing beside a powerful man, but as someone who has earned her place in the clouds. And the same goes for her philanthropic efforts with the Bezos Earth Fund, where she has become more than a figurehead, more than a plus one. She is a voice, a strategist, a force, and when you view that moment on the beach through that lens, the stilettos take on a new meaning. They are no longer just an accessory. They are a declaration that beauty and strength can coexist. That femininity and force are not opposites, but allies.
Chrissy Teigen, who sells her cookbooks on Bezos' Amazon
It was a statement, a declaration of power and resilience wrapped in the glamorous guise of a sun-soaked getaway. The sparkling waters around them whispered promises of adventure and renewal, while the eyes of the world remained fixed on every step, every smile, every glance exchanged between these captivating figures with their billionaire partners, Jeff Bezos and Leonardo DiCaprio. Adding an extra layer of intrigue and fascination to the tableau, the couples moved as one through exclusive resorts, charming seaside towns, and hidden coves, each moment a carefully crafted blend of spontaneity and strategy. Lauren's life was a study in reinvention from the whirlwind romance that had captivated. Headlines to the challenges and scrutiny that followed her every move. She had learned to harness the power of narrative, turning gossip into fuel and criticism into motivation. As the cameras flashed and the whispers grew louder, she remained poised, unshaken, her eyes reflecting a complex mix of vulnerability and steel. Beneath the sunlit surface, the story of this vacation unfolded not just as a collection of beautiful images, but as a chapter in the ongoing saga of a woman who refused to be defined by her past. Instead, she was writing a new script, one filled with ambition, confidence, and unapologetic authenticity. Vittoria, on the other hand, embodied a different but equally compelling story. Her rise from a small town in Italy to the runways of Paris and Milan was marked by relentless work ethic and a fearless embrace of change together. They represented a new era of women who claimed their space on their own terms, uniting friendship and fame in a dazzling dance that captivated and inspired from the buzzing cafes of Ibiza to the tranquil shores of Formentera. Every moment was an affirmation of life lived boldly and beautifully. The world watched as Lauren and Vittoria proved that beyond the glitz and glamour, there was a story of courage and connection, a reminder that even in the most dazzling light, there were shadows to confront and dreams to chase. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and rose, the couples prepared for an evening filled with laughter, music, and memories to last a lifetime. This was more than a vacation. It was a celebration of identity transformation and the enduring power of sisterhood in the face of the relentless gaze of fame. As the days slipped by on the sun-drenched Spanish Isles, Lauren Sánchez Bezos and Vittoria Ceretti found themselves caught in a whirlwind of moments that blurred the lines between leisure and life's deeper challenges. The sparkling turquoise waves of the Mediterranean sang their eternal song, while the warm sea breeze carried the scent of salt and wine.
Right, red carpets, glamour, Met Gala. Why do you think you're sometimes misunderstood?
People do, they just see one side.
New faces and the faccio, constant pulse of cameras that never seemed to rest. Despite the glitz and glamour, Lauren remained an enigma to many, a woman whose fierce independence and unyielding spirit had propelled her through trials both public and private, but who still harbored private doubts and fears beneath the polished surface. The kind of fears that only come from loving a man as complex and scrutinized as Jeff Bezos, the billionaire whose shadow loomed large over every aspect of her life. Their love a story, told in headlines and hushed conversations.
Right? Like, she set the bar so high. I'm like, oh my God, nobody goes to Vegas anymore, but they go to outer space on their
Exactly. And all of those ladies are going to be at the wedding too.
Fashion world with the genuine friendships she had, cultivated away from the flashing bulbs. Her Italian charm and unpretentious nature made her a beloved figure. Yet even she knew the price of success was often solitude and sacrifice on this couple's vacation, surrounded by opulence and endless possibility. There was also a current of vulnerability and unspoken tensions that neither woman could entirely escape. But they found strength in each other in late-night talks under the stars where they shed their public personas and shared their hopes, their regrets, and their dreams, far from the gaze of the media. They were simply two women seeking connection and meaning in a world that often tried to define them by their relationships, rather than their own stories. Together, they explored hidden beaches, where the sand was soft and the crowds were few, discovering secret coves accessible only by boat or a winding trail through fragrant pine forests. It was in these moments of quiet escape that Lauren felt a flicker of peace, a chance to breathe, away from the relentless expectations that came with being the wife of one of the most powerful men on earth. Yet even as she smiled and laughed with Vittoria and their partners, she carried the weight of rumors and speculation, the whispers about her past, her role in breaking up a marriage, and the doubts about her ability to build a future with Jeff. These shadows followed her like ghosts, lurking at the edges of her brightest moments. But her resilience was unmatched, a testament to a woman who refused to be broken by the cruelty of public opinion. Instead, she transformed pain into purpose, channeling her energy into philanthropic endeavors and daring dreams like the all-women space mission she had announced with such pride and determination. Her vision extended far beyond the earthly concerns of gossip and scandal. It was a vision of empowerment, of breaking barriers and soaring into new frontiers. A mission that spoke to her deepest desire to be seen not just as a billionaire's wife, but as a trailblazer in her own right. Vittoria watched with admiration and empathy, the quiet strength it took for Lauren to carve out this identity, the way she embraced challenges head-on. The bond between the two women deepened, forging a sisterhood that transcended the superficial connections often found in their worlds. Their laughter echoed through the villa walls, mixing with the clink of glasses and the soft melodies of Spanish guitar played by local musicians hired for intimate gatherings. These nights were filled with storytelling and celebration as they toasted to survival, to success, and to the unpredictable journey of life itself. Yet amid the beauty and joy, there was an undeniable tension, the constant presence of the cameras. The ever-looming social media storms, the whispered doubts about loyalty and love. These were not easily escaped in this world of excess and scrutiny. Every smile was analyzed, every gesture interpreted, and every silence filled with meaning. Lauren and Vittoria learned to navigate these waters with a blend of grace and guardedness. Each new day, a balancing act between being the women they were and the figures the world wanted them to be. And as the couple's vacation neared its end, the sun setting in brilliant shades of orange and pink over the horizon, they both knew this chapter was but one part of a much larger story. A story of ambition, love, betrayal, and resilience, written in the shadows and the light. And somewhere in that vast spectrum lay the truth. They both sought a truth that would ultimately define not just their time on the Spanish Isles, but the paths they would walk for years to come.
Is she like confused about the administration? I find this really hard to reconcile, so I tried to figure it out. I couldn't find like much on her political beliefs, and I'm really not surprised by that. Obviously, she did work for Fox, so some people speculate that that's all you need to know, but I think it's more nuanced than that, but I don't know.
The lives they led, far removed from the ordinary, yet touched deeply by the universal truths of love, loss, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of identity in a world that rarely offered simple answers. Lauren's mind drifted back to the moments that had shaped her, not just as Jeff Bezos' wife, but as a woman fiercely determined to carve her own legacy amidst the towering expectations and ceaseless scrutiny she faced every day from the public and the media. The story of her life was more than tabloid headlines and whispered rumors. It was a complex mosaic of triumphs and struggles woven together by threads of resilience and courage, from her early days as a driven journalist anchoring stories on television to her fearless leap into aviation. Founding the groundbreaking Black Ops Aviation Company, Lauren had always defied the odds and shattered ceilings, her Emmy Award. A testament to her dedication and talent. Yet even with all these accolades, there remained an undercurrent of doubt, cast by those who saw her only through the lens of being Jeff Bezos' partner. A label that sometimes felt like a cage, rather. Then a crown alongside her stood Vittoria Ceretti, the elegant Italian model whose own story was one of transformation and tenacity, rising from a small town to the dazzling runways of Milan and Paris. Her grace and authenticity making her a beacon. Of inspiration for many, yet beneath the surface of high fashion and flashing cameras lay her own battles with identity and the quest to remain true to herself in an industry that demanded perfection and often sacrificed humanity. Their friendship blossomed as they found solace and strength in shared experiences, navigating the highs and lows of lives lived in the public eye. While their vacations were painted with the brushstrokes of luxury and beauty, the reality was far more intricate. Moments of laughter were interspersed with deep conversations about fears and hopes, about the complex webs of relationships, and the shadows cast by past mistakes. They spoke candidly about the pressures of maintaining facades and the yearning for genuine connection. Lauren revealed how the emotional scars from Jeff's previous marriage still lingered, sometimes surfacing unexpectedly, like the day she stumbled upon a hidden letter, a secret communication between Jeff and his ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott. The discovery shattered the fragile peace she had managed to build, triggering a cascade of emotions: confusion, anger, and profound sadness. It was a moment that tested her resolve and forced her to confront the uncertainties of her place in Jeff's life. Vittoria listened with empathy, offering comfort and perspective, drawing from her own experiences of heartbreak and reinvention. Together, they navigated the turbulent waters of public perception and private pain, learning that strength was not the absence of vulnerability, but the courage to embrace it fully amid these intimate revelations. Their days were also filled with the mundane and the magical, from early morning swims in crystalline waters to late-night strolls along the moonlit shores where the only witnesses were the stars and the gentle crashing of waves. In these fleeting escapes, Lauren found glimpses of freedom, a chance to momentarily shed the weight of expectation and simply be herself, a woman with dreams beyond wealth and fame, a woman yearning to leave a mark on the world that transcended headlines and gossip. Her vision for a women-only space mission was not merely a daring adventure, but a bold statement of empowerment, a call to break barriers and redefine what was possible for women everywhere. Vittoria shared in this passion, inspired by her own journey of breaking into an industry often resistant to change. Together, they dreamed of futures unbound by the limitations imposed by society or circumstance. Yet the shadow of Jeff's complicated history always loomed in the background. The public's relentless fascination with his past relationships.
Recently, she shared a
and the
reel
ongoing
calling out
comparisons
racist and
between
sexist rage baiting just days after Donald Trump blamed DEI initiatives for a fatal American Airlines crash. Lauren posted a video from an NYU professor that criticizes the strategy of generating clicks by stirring division.
I'm in marketing,
forcing
and we've
Lauren
got
to
from
develop
45 to
an armor of
95
resilience
sex
and grace in the face of adversity. The paparazzi's lenses followed their every move. The headlines twisted moments of joy into narratives of scandal and betrayal. But through it all, Lauren's spirit remained unbroken. She channeled the pain into purpose. The philanthropy projects, the advocacy for women in tech and aviation, the support for underfunded communities all became part of her mission to redefine herself on her own terms. Not as a footnote in Jeff Bezos' story, but as a protagonist. In her own right, Vittoria stood beside her, not just as a friend, but as a witness to this transformation. Their bond a testament to the power of solidarity in a world often designed to pit women against each other as the couple's vacation drew to a close. The promise of new beginnings mingled with the echoes of unresolved challenges. The Spanish Isles had offered a backdrop of beauty and refuge, but the journey ahead was still uncertain. The whispers of old flames reigniting the fears of emotional breakdowns and the ever-present gaze of the media created a complex tapestry of hope and apprehension. Yet through it all, Lauren and Vittoria found a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to face whatever lay ahead with courage, authenticity, and the unwavering belief that their stories were theirs to write, no matter the obstacles, no matter the critics. And in that truth lay a powerful kind of freedom. The freedom to live boldly, love fiercely, and rise unyielding from the ashes of doubt and despair. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the Spanish Isles as Lauren Sánchez, Bezos, and Vittoria Ceretti wrapped up their days filled with laughter, reflection, and candid conversations. But behind the scenes, a storm was quietly brewing. The fragile peace Lauren had managed to hold together was cracking under the weight of secrets and suspicions that had begun to gnaw at her soul. She found herself caught in an emotional whirlwind, stirred by whispers of Jeff Bezos' past reaching out across time to unsettle the present. The alleged secret letters between Jeff and Mackenzie Scott that Lauren had stumbled upon were more than just words on paper. They were a reminder of a love story that never quite ended, a tether that still pulled at Jeff's heart, threatening to unravel the life he had built with Lauren as the days passed. The pressure mounted, fueled by relentless media scrutiny and the ever-watchful eyes of social media critics who seemed to delight in dissecting every move, every glance, every smile between Lauren and Jeff. The headlines grew harsher, painting portraits of a woman caught in the crossfire, a third wheel, a trophy wife struggling to hold her ground against a shadowy ex who remained beloved by the public and lauded for her generosity and grace. Mackenzie Scott's rise as a philanthropic powerhouse only added fuel to the fire, further complicating the narrative and deepening the divide between public perception and private reality. Lauren's spirit wavered as she grappled with feelings of jealousy, insecurity, and the fear that she might never truly be enough in the face of Mackenzie's enduring presence in Jeff's life. But through the darkness, Lauren found strength in unexpected places in the unwavering support of Vittoria, whose friendship became a lifeline, a source of clarity and comfort, reminding her that her worth was not defined by comparisons or the opinions of others together. They crafted plans not just for lavish vacations, but for real impact visions that reached far beyond the glitz and glamour they dreamed of. Women breaking barriers in aviation and space exploration, of charities uplifted and communities transformed, their conversations turned to the future, and how Lauren could step fully into her own power beyond the shadow of Jeff Bezos as she prepared to announce her daring plan to lead a women-only space mission. She felt a surge of purpose, a beacon of hope for those who had ever felt confined by circumstances or judged for daring to dream. The announcement was to be a defining moment, a statement that Lauren was more than the sum of rumors and scandal. Yet even this bold step was met with mixed reactions, admiration from some, skepticism from others, and the inevitable intrusion of those who questioned her motives and intentions. But Lauren refused to be silenced. The journey to redefine herself was messy and complicated, marked by setbacks and breakthroughs, yet fueled by an unyielding belief in the power of reinvention, in the ability to rise from pain and claim a new narrative. At the same time, Jeff Bezos faced his own battles, his empire expanding his vision, pushing the boundaries of technology and commerce, yet the personal toll was undeniable. The fractures in his marriage, his complicated relationship with his ex, and the new wife who loved him fiercely, yet feared the ghosts of his past. Every decision was scrutinized, every action weighed against a backdrop of intense public fascination and relentless media speculation amidst it all. A subtle tension simmered beneath the surface, the kind that only those closest to the couple could sense, the quiet moments when Lauren's eyes would darken with doubt, or Jeff's smile would falter in the shadows of their star-studded life. Friendship, love, ambition, and betrayal intertwined in a complex dance that seemed to have no end. And yet through all the uncertainty, the power couple pressed on their story unfolding. Like a high-stakes drama watched by millions yet understood by few, the Spanish Isles retreat was a fleeting respite, but the challenges ahead were real and relentless. The world waited with bated breath to see if love could conquer the past, if Lauren could finally step into the light on her own terms, and if Jeff Bezos could balance the demands of a global empire with the fragile heartbeats of the lives entwined with his own. As the stars emerged over the ocean horizon, Lauren and Vittoria shared a quiet moment of hope that no matter what storms lay ahead, they would face them with courage, strength, and the unbreakable bond of sisterhood, a bond forged not just in shared luxury, but in the raw and real experience of being women trying to find their place in a world that often demanded they lose themselves in the process. The dazzling lights of the Spanish Isles faded behind them as Lauren Sánchez Bezos and Vittoria Ceretti stepped into the next chapter of their lives, a chapter filled with promise, uncertainty, and the unshakable weight of public scrutiny. Lauren's moment on the $485 million super yacht, where she almost lost her balance, became a symbol not just of glamour, but of the precarious tightrope she walked, daily caught between love, ambition, and the ghosts of a complicated past alongside Jeff Bezos, the man whose brilliance had built an empire, yet whose heart remained tangled in old stories. The couple's lavish vacation was more than just a retreat. It was a stage where private emotions played out for an unseen audience, a microcosm of the highs and lows of a relationship under constant watch. The rumors of a secret letter that nearly shattered Lauren's world continued to swirl, fueling speculation about the future of their marriage. Yet Lauren's determination to rewrite her story grew stronger with every challenge she faced her bold plan to lead. A women-only space mission was not just a publicity stunt, but a testament to her desire to soar beyond the confines of tabloid headlines and public judgment in the background. Jeff Bezos remained focused on his vision, balancing the demands of a global empire with the fragile threads of his personal life. While critics like Rosie O'Donnell and billionaire rivals such as Elon Musk fired salvos, the couple weathered the storms with resilience. Their story, a complex tapestry of love, rivalry, power, and redemption, captured the imagination of millions around the world as the sun set over the Mediterranean. Lauren and Vittoria shared dreams, whispered promises, and forged alliances that would define their futures beyond the glitz. The real story was one of transformation, of women refusing to be defined by the past or the opinions of others, instead choosing to lead with courage, compassion, and unbreakable strength. Their journey was far from over. The chapters still unwritten held the potential for triumph, heartbreak, and the ultimate revelation of what it truly meant to love, forgive, and rise above all the noise in a world obsessed with celebrity scandal and fleeting fame. Lauren Sánchez Bezos was determined to be remembered not just as a figure in a billionaire's life, but as a woman who claimed her own destiny, who danced on the edge of the impossible, and who dared to reach for the stars even when the world was watching and waiting to see if she would fall or fly. And as the waves gently lapped against the hull of the super yacht, their story sailed onward, a testament to the enduring power of love and reinvention. And in the face of every unshaken challenge and every whispered rumor, the journey continues, and the world watches, eager for the next breathtaking twist in the saga of Lauren Sánchez and Jeff Bezos.
This video covers legal allegations in a news context. All claims are from official filings and no guilt is implied until proven in court. Please keep all discussions respectful. Allegations are not facts until proven in court.